Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Real Deals. Tonight, we're going to revisit that old demonic favorite, narcissists. And tonight, we're going to talk about the worst one. The covert one is in your face, not like the overt one, slicing your throat. It's destroying you. So, hang tight. Don't move a muscle. Welcome, everybody. We're about to get started.
The Real Deals are on the air now. And now, live from the Swords of St. Michael Studios, it's The Real Deals. Kenneth and Farrah Rose.
I hope everybody had a great week. Welcome back once again. We had to revisit this topic due to the just lots of questions. Lots of people would like me to flesh this out a bit more, draw the parallel lines between the actions of demonic and the difficulties in mental illness associated with this disorder. And as we know from the DSM, I'm going to refer to certain modalities of expression as from the DSM. This is my opinion, so that you guys can separate them, because I don't pretend to be a doctor or therapist or anything else. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you. And before we begin, what do? Let's pray ourselves in with the St. Michael prayer. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sanctus, sic erat et principio et nunc et semper ex saeculorum. Sanctum Michael Arcangele, defende nos in prelio contra nequitiam et insidiis diaboli est oppressidium. In perdere Deus supplicis de peccamur tuque. Princeps malitia celesti satana maliosque spiritus malignos, qui ad perditionem manam marum perverantur in mundo divina virtute in infernum detrude. Amen. Welcome, everyone. Good to see everyone. I see Athena, Jennifer, Melissa, Tony, and I see my banana hammock left. I'm going to kill him. Sanctum Michael. Hey, listen, you guys, I am missing my Tony tonight, and Deb is on hiatus. You know, she's gone tonight. So if people catch some questions, if you guys can just try and either, those of you that have my text, you can shoot them to text, or you can just grab them, and as I ask for questions, hi, Athena, we'll get to them at the end. This is a power-packed show because I've got the top 20 for you, so you're going to want to sit down. If you are new to the show, please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, because it puts the video up to the top. If you can subscribe, and there's a little bell up there, you will get notifications when I start doing videos as I get organized, and I can do more than one video a week. Other than that, like I said, get your pencils and pens out, kids, because we're going over the top 20. Hi, Karen. Hi, little Lottie. Suzanne, you made it. Stuart. As we look at these top 20, we're going to start talking about, hello, what's going on? We have got demonic masks everywhere. And when we look at supernatural, the preternatural, and spiritual warfare, the demonic hides behind a variety of what? What do we call it? We call it mimicked attitudes and behaviors, because the demonic cannot totally, completely mimic human behavior. It looks at it as a mirror and tries to and attempts to build a parallel so that it can entice us to do something invitational, and then we're sucked in, we're oppressed, and that sort of thing. Okay? That's got to get that out there. When we're talking about the demonic masks of mental illness, there are many cases of oppression and possession where you're going to have a number of these factors, such as these are the cluster B personalities, and we're talking about narcissism, covert, overt. Tonight we're going to talk about the worst one, which is overt. That is got to be the number one that people are saying, I was a victim, I can't deal with this. I lost my mind. I've got high blood pressure, things like that. This is really insidious. So I want to talk about this in depth. I want to talk to you about the pains of when you may think that somebody is oppressed and you may think that there's a problem. It could be they're worse than oppressed. It could be that they have got one of these dissociative disorders that is driving them to literally drive you nuts. And it may not be that they want to drive you nuts, it's just that they are. So, like I said, pencils and papers up. We're going to start with the basics in case I'm going to assume that you have not seen the previous videos that we did on narcissism and the demonic masks and the parallels that I draw. So let's start here with, we have got I call it the cookie cutter, kids. This is the cookie cutter idea of narcissism, covert versus overt, demonic invitation versus the next generation. And we're going to talk more about this at the end of the 20 bullet points that I make, because I think you need to know what is going on in society, in our culture, in the office of exorcism, this sort of thing. I am going to do my best to keep my gesticulations down to a low minimum, because I get a little bit of excitement going on when I can nail some of these very, shall I say, pointed behaviors and draw the parallels between them and the demonic. So, the masks of narcissism, as we have discussed in previous shows, are right here. The victim type narcissist in the cluster B is going to have what we're talking about and is going to constantly play the victim. The lover, wanting the instant gratification, needing that instant feed, is going to invest in giving you gratification so they can get it right back. Workaholic, this is one that is the entire, let me backtrack a little bit on narcissism. Every single modality of the narcissistic character is shame-based. And in the shame-based, they are looking for one of two things: either to feed and get a hit off of you, or to protect themselves from being exposed and being more shamed than they already are. So, we're going to get you away from looking at that, because I want you to listen to these top 20. These are very important, you guys. Ta-da! Going back to big camera time. Okay. So in the demonic masks we're talking about with narcissist, I want to talk about, you just saw the definition of overt, covert. The overt one is in your face. You can't miss it, because this is the person that just brags so much. They've got the Porsche, they've got the cash, they've got everything that they have is absolutely better. You can't out-talk them, you can't outdo them. They must be on top. They must be in your face. They must be histrionic, because they have to be just so passionate and so there. Now, the overt is, we want to say that both of these in the DSM, both of them have a very low, what is called in the DSM, in the modality, is a low EQ. What is a low EQ? A low EQ is, this is what I call, okay, when I look at cases and when I look at a potential in an individual of where they are, and I have to assess a case, whether there's oppression, whether there's mental illness, one of the number one things I look for is I look for the emotional quotient, the emotional point where they are drawing their wellspring of solid ground. Now, what do I mean by solid ground? People may be able to act very mature. They may appear as if, ABC didn't bother them. They may be appearing to handle things very well. And in a narcissist case, in the mask of the narcissist, okay, when we're looking at the oppression, possession type of thing here, your classic overt and covert are always going to defer to the 4-year-old. Okay, 4? Did I say 4? 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, 4-year-old. That is the baseline. When they're pitching a fit, when they're throwing something at you, when they are telling you that, I just killed your cat because, your cat bit me, and I had to do it, sorry. When they are throwing something at you, they are pitching the 4-year-old temper tantrum. That is not always the baseline. But that's what they revert to, because that's their base level. You're going to find emotional quotients, emotional IQ quotients, anywhere from about 3 or 4 to usually about 14, 15, maybe sometimes as old as 16, 18. Very rarely do they get that old. But their emotional quotient is very shame-based. It's very lacks responsibility, lacks the ability to apologize. There is no depth. There's no real depth there, okay? And as I was talking earlier, it's just a mirror. So, the number one reason that you are looking at a potential narcissist, demonic mask, is you've had to turn yourself into a private investigator. What do I mean by private investigator, kids? Hello, Carolyn, Michelle, and Ash, and Jennifer. What do I mean by that? When you are looking at, when you're looking at a case, when you're looking at somebody that you work with, potentially, when you're looking at someone to determine where are they coming from, what are they talking about, what is it that they're seeking to either get or do or extract from you. Yeah, there's a real bad feeling. There's a real bad gut feeling. A narcissist, very similar, as I was saying in other videos, are basically baseline, they must abuse. They must use. They must get everything that they can from you, period. They must set up an abusive relationship with you. How do you know you're being abused? I mean, this is like so unusual, right? It's just so weird. So your first one is you start looking around and you start thinking, this doesn't seem right. Why is this person talking to me like this? Why are they treating me like this? So you start looking around the internet and you start looking for videos like this and saying, oh, wow. And if you're a spiritual person, if you believe in the supernatural, you're going to understand that there is a demonic element to this. There really, really is. And we'll get to that as we get down the line of the numbers 1, 2, 3. So you become a detective and try and find out what is going on with this person. 2, you will know that you are dealing with a narcissist. Not every single one of these is going to point to a diagnosis. We're not attempting to diagnose. I'm not a doctor here. We are referring to the DSM, Diagnostic Statistician's Manual for Therapists. And we are also looking at patterns of behavior. What are patterns of behavior? Patterns of behavior are things that are non-changeable. They are very fixed in a person's personality, the ways they talk to people, the way they handle people, they handle situations. So number 2 is an emptiness. And what do I mean by an emptiness? We all have moods, right? We all have times where we kind of flake out. We don't really want to do anything. We don't want to answer the phone. We don't want to be around people. And we get really boring, right? So this emptiness, this flatness in the narcissist, this is something that is like, you're just spilling your guts to this person and you're telling them, your life story. You're having a meltdown moment and they're looking at you like with the dead eyes. Like there's nothing there. Like nothing registered. Absolutely nothing. And you're like, okay, I don't have a punchline. That was horrible and I'm bawling my eyes out here. And nothing. So this emotional emptiness, this flatness is part of their low EQ. All right. It is something, since this is a shame-based diagnosis, when you think about exactly what demonics do, and you think about the opportunities for oppression, you think about the opportunities for emotion, or I should say the emotional reaching of something that you ought not to have, there's an emptiness in that blackness. There's an absolute emptiness of whatever you're reaching out to that is very, very cold. I cannot stress that enough. And this narcissist that you may be involved with, or you may be investigating as part of an investigation to find out if they're oppressed or possessed, there's a level of coldness that you would feel warmer standing next to the frozen meat aisle in any grocery store. Because you know that cow was alive at one time, right? All right. Number 3, anxiety. Anxiety is horrible, people. Anxiety is so horrible. And narcissists, the way you recognize a narcissist is constantly in an anxious mood. Everything that you do, everything that you say can be picked apart and turned toward them as if you're attacking them. It's a natural for them to look at you and say, you said that about me? You mean that? Did you really mean that? They are turning things around, and everything is putting them on the edge. I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you're wearing that. You're embarrassing me. Can't you change? How can you talk to me like that? Everything. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything. You just have to stand there, and they're looking at you like you're like excrement on the pavement, and you're like, what did I do? But this anxiousness, as we said earlier, this anxiousness comes from the shame base, the disassociation of the child that was so shame based that they have to focus the attention on you to make it known that you are the source of the shame, not them. Not them. But they look at you and point the finger. So, number 4 to check off. We just went through 1, you become a detective. 2, the emptiness inside. 3, serious anxiety. 4, grandiose fantasies. Now, you're going to find out in the cluster B personalities that there's a level of grandiosity in all of them. You know, your sociopaths, your psychopaths, something in them that drives them to tell people, you don't know how wonderful I am. If only the world could really see who I am and how I am. Oh, how wonderful. I'd have 5 crowns. I'd have everything. Everything would fall at my feet, right? So, the sense of grandiosity that you're looking at in the covert narcissist is completely different than the overt, because the overt is in your face. The covert is very underhanded, and the covert is very sneaky. So you have to look for this grandiosity. You're only going to get peeks at it. Because of their level of shame, because of who they are and who they pretend to be, they can't exactly come out and brag and get in your face about it, because if they did that, then what would that be? That would be completely against their nature, right? So in order to maintain the privacy of their shame, shall we say, they have to maintain their hidden nature. They cannot let you see their motives. They cannot let you see their motives. So that motive, to hide everything, is going to be sneaky. They're going to go behind your back with their schemes. So let's just say that they want to try a new business. Well, they're not going to let you know. They're going to go behind your back, take all the resources, everything else, and they're just going to go do it. And whether it fails or chances are it's not going to succeed, because they just are a total mess. But we'll go over that later. The difference, a covert has convinced themselves in their grandiosity. They've convinced themselves. They've lied to themselves so well. They know they are God's gift to this earth. They're God's gift to you. They are it. Okay? Now, I should say the overt in your face. The covert, on the other hand, they secretly know. They secretly know that they're absolutely worthless. So in their horror, in their shame, in their fear, they have to sneak about everything. So if this is a case, you're undercover and you're trying to peel back all these layers, look for that sneakiness. Demons are the same way. Demons are not going to come out and say, hey, I want to destroy you and make you jump off a bridge and make all your family just descend into hell. No, they're going to go about things very, very sneaky. And this is the interesting thing about this is what they will do to cover up their sneakiness and their lies. It just knows no bounds, you guys. So number 5, they are self-entitled. What do I mean by self-entitled? Both the overt and the covert, they believe that you owe them. They should be getting the most. They should be getting the best. They should be getting the biggest. Everything that they get should be the grandest. Now, this in a sense is very, 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 very demonic. Yes, there is no humility whatsoever. No humility, no giving, no sharing, no nothing. They want it all, and they want it yesterday. And if you don't give it to them, or you tell them no, there is seriously going to pay HELL to pay. I don't want to get demonetized for saying that word. Okay, guys? So, the narcissist must demand that everyone, especially the overt, but the covert not so much. The covert's a little bit more insidious. They will play the little mind games to get the best seat. They will play victim, so you will give them the biggest and the best. They will play, oh, they're the martyr. They've done everything for you. Can't you see it? I mean, we're talking serious actors, okay? They are going to throw themselves in the pit and let you see how they've suffered for you. They've given everything. It's disgusting, but they do it. This is their modus operandi. So, that's 5. 6. Well, this one is kind of self-explanatory for all of them. This is the arrogance and the never, 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 never apologizing. They cannot apologize, because to apologize, that would literally, that would expose who they really are. So they can't apologize at all. Just can't happen. They are not confident. The overt narcissist comes at you with guns and barrels blazing and is in your face, where the covert narcissist is going to sneak in underneath the radar. And they're not going to let you know they're there. You're going to look and think, wow, this person is just so wonderful. Look at how nice, look how thoughtful this person. Look at what they do for me. And you look at them and you think, I couldn't have met a nicer, more thoughtful, giving person, right? Think again. There is a method to every single thing they do. There's a method to their madness. And it truly is the madness of King George. It's dangerous. Very dangerous. So, when you look at the level of arrogance, there's a difference between healthy, and I don't even think healthy is like applicable to arrogance here, kids. But some people have a little bit of arrogance in them because they're just confident. They're super confident. That's not what I'm talking about here. In a case of an oppression or a case of mental illness, you're going to see a deep-seated, like a seething arrogance. Almost like an angry arrogance. Like, pay attention to me kind of arrogance. Like, if you don't see who I am, I'm just going to go give my time and talents elsewhere. There has to be something in it for them at all times. Never, never forget that. They have to have something coming back to them, or they're not getting their hits. Okay? So we got the arrogance out of the way. In this arrogance, in order to get your attention and to get you to feed this arrogant nature, they're going to belittle you. They are going to chop you up. They're going to attack you. They're going to attack everything that you base your self-worth or your self-esteem on. So if you are a sculptor, if you're an artist, if you are educated, they're going to pull the rug out and they're going to compare you to somebody else to show you how worthless you are. Because you cannot be molded and used by them until you see how worthless you truly are, just like they are. So this is one to be really careful for. A lot of women that I know, and a couple of cases that I know of, the covert narcissist is so insidious and so dangerous. It starts out like waterboarding. A little tiny trickle at a time. One little nasty comment here. One tear down here. The goal of this covert narcissist, just like the demonics, is to get you to question and doubt everything that you know that's good about yourself. And that's the hard thing. It's like, how can you be confident in who you are if you're questioning everything? But that's their job, to get you to totally question everything. Hey kids, don't forget, give us a thumbs up, give the video a like, and if you like, hit the subscribe button. Okay, so you get notifications. We are on number 7. Okay, number 7 of demonic masks and narcissism. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming. Please hit subscribe and enjoy chat. Tony C is not in tonight, but we have other people that will help me with questions if I need them. Number 7. In cluster B personality disorders, the covert and the overt narcissist, and as it relates to the demonic, what we're looking at here in number 7 is the split of the personality. What do I mean by the split? Everybody thinks they are so wonderful and they are so charming and they're so nice, and everybody sees this narcissist as the pillar of the community. They are the cornerstone. They're the one that can be relied upon. They set themselves up to be seen as solid. The split, the disassociation, is their vulnerability, leaves them prone to depression. It leaves them prone to, unlike the overt, who is very angry in your face, will grab you and throw you up against a wall. You may get that rarely with the covert. The covert may do those things when they think they'll lose you. So we're going to do a second video on disassociating and leaving the covert, demonic kind of thing. What I'm talking about here, though, is I'm talking about there's such a disposition to depression, to sadness. And I'm not talking about occasional sadness once a week. Yes, it's the end of the week. I had a rough day. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, what I've got to deal with. Or, there's a construction job and just everything is just like, everything's not going right. I'm talking about a default. And you know what a default is? It's what they turn to basically show the world, you should feel sorry for me. I'm worthy of being felt sorry for, because I've got it so terrible. I'm just everything's just so awful. So that's it. The split. Look for that split. That's number 7. Number 8. When we're looking to unmask the demonic and the narcissist, we have a personality that deeply needs to be seen as rescuing you. Isn't that bizarre? Especially whether they're a martyr, or whether they are a victim narcissist, or whether however they see themselves. What we're looking at is everybody must see them as being a very good person. These type of individuals tend towards charity organizations. They tend towards organizations that are serving the public, because this is how they must be seen. They must be seen as powerful and vibrant and almost as if they have a God complex. That if they are not in a position where they are absolutely responsible for somebody else's well-being, it's not, they're not getting the kudos, they're not getting the hits that they need. So this is kind of the strange facet of the covert. But they need to be seen as kind and benevolent and sweet and all this other stuff, you guys. Number 9 in this unmasking the covert narcissist. There is going to be a level of extreme self-centeredness. Now, what do I mean by extreme? You're going to have people that are going to be self-centered just because they are. I mean, people, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of these 20 points too, you guys, okay? Just so that you can understand a little bit more in depth. But what I mean here is, you can be self-centered. I mean, we all need to be self-centered. I mean, as toddlers, I mean, if we're not self-centered or children, we're not going to get our needs met unless we start squawking. And as you know, on any airplane, if you don't give yourself air first, you know what? You're probably going to be going down. So, extreme self-centeredness is this person is absolutely, everything is about them. It doesn't matter if you show up and like, oh my gosh, you trip over yourself and it's like you got a gash on your forehead and you split your arm open. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Look at me. They're watching you bleed all over the place and they're like, look at me. I bumped my nose. They cannot stop talking about themselves. Everything is like, help me, see me, watch me, feel me.
The Real Deals TV show, copyright 2018, a Swords of St. Michael production. Any unauthorized duplication